it may have positive effects, and at least in small doses. If situations are controllable, or if it serves to maintain emotional and perhaps physiological equilibrium, at least in the short term. As she made these responses toward an empathetic search for feedback, the worker went beyond what seemed to be an automatic response and requested that she clarify how things were okay, why she felt she couldn't do it, or what made her believe she was not strong enough. Through seeking clarification to her responses, it was discovered that her reply was merely an outer shell for the delicate emotions that lie beneath. Making her aware of her negative self-talk served as an entrance to the contemplation stage of her readiness to change. By the worker positively opposing the negative perception of her reality, more optimistic, reflective responses were observed from the client. The social worker's role in this meeting. According to the NASW Code of Ethics, explanation of the ethical principle regarding competence, social workers practice within their area of competence and develop and enhance their professional expertise. Because the worker was not licensed as a social worker, she lacked the proper criteria to competently conduct a session with the client and give a professional diagnosis of her habitual drinking. In order to respect these boundaries and assist the client to her highest ability, she implemented psychoeducational methods to inform the client on common effects of inherent alcoholism to reduce potential harm and promote responsible decision-making skills, as well as use solution-based therapy and motivational interviewing skills. She provided resources to maintain sobriety and practice reflective listening in order to assist the client in discovering her strengths as well as problematic factors. Notes were taken on problem areas in the client's life in order to ensure the worker had the correct information for the next session, or if there was legal matters, she would have it all documented. The resources provided by the worker consisted of allowing friends to accompany her in session, in order to educate them on her lack of control pertaining to drinking, an invitation to attend sober events such as sober tailgating parties as an optional supportive outlet, the assistance in planning an art show without alcoholic beverages, and 8 free counseling sessions with the psychology department. Active participation. The client actively participated in scheduling and attending sessions with the Substance Abuse Resource Center. With the resources given, she set goals to attend the sessions according to her availability, and joined recovery meetings for students on the campus, supported by a recovery group. Due to her perseverance to overcome her drinking habit, the client found an outlet in the services offered to further her independence. The support system she once found comfortable was not so supportive toward her sobriety, which led to the client feeling oppressed by her peers, and a relapse in her depression as well as an extension in her drinking. There is reason to believe that an unfamiliar sober lifestyle as opposed to a familiar on-campus lifestyle involving drinking is initially less rewarding, leaving the client with a desire for comfort. Addictive drugs not only engage these brain reward systems, often more potently than natural rewards, but they can also engage them, according to Robinson and Burridge in 2003. The next step is going to be to plan. First, we will discuss the main issues and the barriers preventing her from reaching her desired goal. The client struggles with current meso-level relations with family and peers and is unable to relocate away from campus where many of the triggers for her continued use of alcoholism reside. The focus of the session was based on creating achievable goals in order to promote action toward her contemplation to quit drinking. At the beginning of the session, the worker asked what the client would like to achieve from the sessions at the Substance Abuse Resource Center. The client stated she would like to limit or discontinue her use of alcohol and hopes to build meaningful meso-level relationships within her support system as well as decrease her depressive symptoms on a micro level. Due to the client's father being absent and her mother's inability to care for herself, the client feels as though she is concerned and deals with a sense of loneliness. She embraces the joy of her artistic talents through the macro level development of art shows around campus bars, but feels as though the placement of the art show serves as a trigger to her drinking. Those were the barriers for the client. Now we will speak about the social workers' barriers. Accountability for our practice is increasingly evident in the public reports that result when things go wrong, according to Rogers in 1967. Because the worker was not licensed, the worker must maintain proper boundaries with the client in order to prevent further harm from being done due to the worker's lack of competency in the practice. To ensure the client's boundaries were respected, the worker reassured the client of her responsibility to keep the information confidential unless she proved to be harmful to herself or others, and was informed of the discontinuation of service due to graduating in May. The client was reassured by the social worker that she will help her achieve her goals to the best of her ability in order to assist her needs before the termination of services, and a notice will be given prior to the termination. The practicing worker was careful to identify problematic issues by means of reflective questions, so the lack of knowledge in the field of substance use did not make the client feel uncomfortable, and the trust between the client and worker was maintained. Next, we will discuss the plan of action. Upon speaking with the client about what she would like to achieve from the sessions, it was noticed that she was setting goals that were overwhelming her motivation to reach sobriety. Her focus to discontinue use was set by the goal of a month rather than taking a reasonable and less immense route. By using a solution-focused approach, the client and worker were able to determine the effective solutions she utilizes, such as self-awareness, willingness to change, and her perseverance, and uncover solutions that impede her main goal, such as her surrounding social workers networks that partake in the consumption of alcohol, her family's alcoholism and their need for the client to care for them, and the easy accessibility to bars. The worker explained how small productive steps, such as making it past the time she would routinely consume her first alcoholic beverage, will lead to her goal of a month. Rather than rushing the development of one major goal, it is more effective to build on smaller, stable goals in order to establish a secure base for her ultimate intended solution. In hopes of making her obtainment of sobriety more achievable, the worker educated the client on accessible activities near campus. Support groups provided by a recovery group allow students facing similar issues related to substance use a place to exchange stories and possible solutions to their common issues, as well as relationship building. The worker requested the client attend at least one meeting by the next scheduled session in order to give her an escape and allow her a different perspective on her on-campus lifestyle. Because the client faces a cycle of depression caused by the caregiver role she maintains with her mother and peers, the worker requested the client set an appointment for counseling with the psychology department by the next session in order to discover the underlying cause of her issue and develop skills to cope. Although the session with SART provides the client with a clearer understanding of the underlying causes of her depression, the Substance Abuse Research Center is based on psychoeducation, solution-based therapy, and motivational interviewing, and does not offer competent licensed counselors. SART, as we'll call it, would legally and unethically violate the policies laid out by the campus and licensure standards if counseling services were given to their clients. By encouraging a meeting with her closest friends or family members in order to assist in educating them on the difficulties she faces with her consumption of alcohol, the worker hopes to strengthen the client's current support system as a practicum student practicing in the social work field. The worker understands the importance of human relationships as described in the NASW Code of Ethics. And a significant role strengthening relationship holds in the enhancement of a client's well-being. Because the client's current support system plays a crucial role in the continuation of habitual drinking, the worker believes the participation of her social network may not only help the client maintain sobriety, but also help educate her peers on the consequences of their continuous consumption as well. Notes were documented on the client's goals to ensure the proper information is communicated. And then we are going to pause for a break for a second.